Isn't that weird? This is the same Jesus that has compassion on everyone. The same Jesus that just says to demons, get out of there, and they have to go. But He won't even acknowledge this woman's presence. And His disciples came and begged Him, saying, "Send her away, for she's crying out after us." She kept following Him. "Oh Lord, Son of David, have mercy on me, have mercy on me, have mercy on me." And they're going, "All right, shut up already. We know what you want. Now get away from us." Because, that would have been their reaction. But as we're going to see here, Jesus was not about pushing this woman away. He was about pushing her forward in her faith. Okay? That's key. So, He answered, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." Now He says this in her hearing. What He's saying is, I was sent to the Jews so the Jews could be the real light I had always intended them to be to the Gentiles. And there are a number of scriptures about how God's people were supposed to be a light to the Gentiles. They were supposed to receive the knowledge of what a true relationship with the one true and holy God is, receive His Word, and receive the Messiah, not so they could become an exclusive club, but so that they could become a spotlight showing in all directions about who God is. So He says, that's who I was sent to. First. It's not a matter of whether or not I would accept the Gentiles. It's just a matter of I had to go to the Jews first because that's the way I planned it. Watch her reaction. But she, verse 25, came and knelt before Him. I love that. Saying, "Lord, help me." She doesn't let His statement stand in the way. And this is a common denominator of people throughout the accounts of the Gospels that I just love seeing. It's people with tenaciousness about them. They know who the real source of life is. They know who the source of healing is. They know who the source of deliverance is, and they're not going to take no for an answer. She says, "Lord, help me." And He answered her, "It is not right to take the children's bread and throw it to the dogs." Now, you take that verse just on its surface and you think, man, what an insult. But you have to dig just a little bit deeper here. Usually when the word dog is used, it refers to a wild scavenger dog. I don't know if you guys have ever run into wild scavenger dogs. Not a fun thing. This isn't, come here little puppy. This is I'm going to bite anything off that I can reach. That's not the word that's used here, okay? And oftentimes, in fact, when the Jews referred to the Canaanites, they would use that term for wild scavenger dog. That's not the word He uses here. This is the word that's used for like a little puppy. Like a dog that would live in their homes. And the idea here is, you've probably had this happen if you have dogs in your household with kids, especially when the meal involves things like rutabagas or cauliflower or stuff like that. Magically the kids seem to eat it. But in reality, it's the dogs that have eaten it. And the child kind of, sneaks it off their plate, kind of holds it down like this, and the dog comes along, "Oh, that's good." So that's the picture that's going on here, okay? It's the crumbs off the master's table that the kids didn't want to eat, so they're giving it to their little dogs. So He says, it's not, I can't do what the Father has not told me to do. And the Father has told me, Jesus says, to come to the Jews and die for the sins of all mankind, and then have the Jews be the center point for the spread of the gospel. He said, you're going to go from Jerusalem to Samaria to Judea to the uttermost parts of the earth. But this woman's awesome. She hears the words. He's doing this little parable thing, right? This little story. She just gets engaged right into it. And she says, I see where you're going with this. I get you. And she goes, "Oh, yes, Lord. But even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table." So she says, the little kids do give that food to the dogs. And it happens at the same time the meal is being eaten. Not afterwards, but at the same time. "I'm not asking for the world," she says, "but I just want a crumb. I know you can give it to me. And look, even in your example, and don't you think that maybe Jesus set it up this way? Jesus knew that this woman would be able to respond and understand what was going on, to say, oh yeah, okay, but you can give this to me now, and it won't violate what God has you doing. And now, again, textual variant, I just picture this huge smile breaking out on Jesus' face. He's pushed her. He's made her think. He has made her engage. And then he says, "O woman, great is your faith. Be it done for you as you desire." And her daughter was healed instantly. He didn't have to say anything to the demon. All he had to say was, "Let it be done for you as you desire." And as I've said, when Jesus speaks, people listen and demons shudder and flee. And they did. So this is like point one in Jesus saying, the people that were supposed to know who I was and were supposed to receive me have instead put all this crust over the top so they don't even know I'm here. And here are people that should never have been seeking me. They know who I am, they recognize me for what I am doing, and yet they still know they can come to me. So now he's going to take this little incident with the Canaanite woman and he's going to blow it out. If he thought he was offending the Pharisees before, just wait. So it says, Jesus went on from there and walked beside the Sea of Galilee, and he went up on the mountain and sat down there. And crowds came to him, bringing with them the lame, the blind, the crippled, the mute, and many others. And they put them at his feet, and he healed them, so that the crowd wondered. When they saw the mute speaking, the crippled healthy, the lame walking, and the blind seeing, they glorified the God of Israel. We have to understand something here, that where they are, what they said here at the end, glorified the God of Israel, actually shows us this was a primarily Gentile crowd of people. Yet Jesus performed incredible miracles right out of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 35, verse 5 and 6, that says, "Then the eyes of the blind shall be opened, and the ears of the deaf unstopped. Then shall the lame man leap like a deer, and the tongue of the mute sing for joy. For waters break forth in the wilderness, and streams in the desert." And I think that Jesus is really showing what his ultimate plan is. Yes, he was sent to the Jews first, but that's only a springboard to bring this kind of healing and this kind of incredible ministry to the entire world, the Gentiles included. And so then in verse 32, Jesus called his disciples. Now again, this is in a primarily Gentile area and in the Decapolis, and a primarily Gentile crowd. And Jesus says, "I have compassion on the crowd because they've been with me now 3 days and have nothing to eat." Now that doesn't mean they didn't have anything to eat for 3 days. It just means the provisions they brought with them had been used up, and they were so immersed in what Jesus was doing and who he was, they didn't want to go anywhere. And he says, I am unwilling to send them away hungry lest they faint on the way. I'm just blown away by that. What like leaving